Hello and welcome back to the Salmon FM with me, Mitchell. This is season 2, episode 2 of my financial rescue save, taking on Botafogo over in Brazil. If you remember from the first episode, we done quite well. We finished in the just outside the Libertadores places. However, because we won the Sudamericana, we qualified via that competition. So it's always nice to get a bit of silverware. Let's have a little look at what the club expected us to achieve this year, and there we are. So pretty much the same. So it's a couple of Libertadores. They want us to finish get to the quarterfinals as a minimum. They want us to qualify for the Libertadores in the league. The Campeonato Carioca, they want us to get to the playoff final. And the Copa do Brasil, they want us to reach the semi-final as a minimum as well. So, it's pretty much the same. And yeah, my contract ends at the end of this season, so I kind of need to at least keep myself satisfactory for them to offer me a new contract. As you can see just over there on the right hand side, I asked the board to increase the junior coaching and the increase of the coaches' wages. If you didn't know this already, the way to work your youth system, it's not just all about having the best facilities and the best coaching staff. There's obviously a level underneath your development centre which you can't really influence, which is your junior coaching, and that helps in bringing through youngsters into your selection days, your youth intake days. And the only real way you can implement any sort of change on that is by asking the club to increase the junior coaching budget. So, in your size, I strongly recommend doing it. I really do. Just keep asking them. Ask them to increase it whenever you get the opportunity, because it will benefit you in the long run. Okay. Let's have a little look at the finances. So, at this point, the 22nd of January, so I've done a month already, I've done pre-season, and we have 10.3 million in the bank. It doesn't really obviously reflect the overall net debt that we have, but let's have a little look. So we got it down to 122 million. Still quite a way to go. If you've ever managed in Brazil, the season, as I said in episode 1, is so long. It's draining. It really is draining. It's a good league to go into, don't get me wrong, but it's so draining. It just feels like I could probably do 2 or 3 seasons in the time it gets me through one in Brazil. But yeah, so this is the competitions page. The Copa Libertadores group has already been drew, and we have it's an alright group, to be fair. I don't see any problems qualifying that. Estudiantes and George Wilston, they're not the best of teams. And then Racing Club over in Argentina, that'll probably be the only difficulty. But obviously, because we won the Sudamericana, we get to play in the South American version of the Super Cup. So we have Gremio, team from our own league, in the final. So hopefully we can rack up a bit of silverware first on that. That game is just 2 weeks away. Little look at the transfers that I've done so far. I'll go through detail with these players in a second. But yeah, so we've done a little bit of business. So 1.6 million worth coming into the club. Yeah, so first of all, Rivaldo. He looks good, don't he? South African, 23. Picked him up from Sundowns over in South Africa. So yeah, it's a nice little steal. So how much did he cost me? He cost me 625,000, and he's now worth 4.5. Same with Tabio, another South African, this time central midfielder, big and strong, cost me virtually nothing to bring him in, less than $500,000, and he's now valued at 4.2. So we're playing for a year. Maybe look at moving him on and trying to get some money back. Fabian Sambueza. I brought him in to be a bit of competition for Honda, really. Honda played obviously a lot of football last year, and hopefully Fabian can push him all the way and do something. I brought this guy in, Lucas, more to be a backup. Yeah, he looks okay. He looks like he can do a job coming in. Played for Juventus. Played a bit in Belgium as well. Yeah. Okay, so I'm jumped in just at the end of the Campeonato, and as you can see, we did get into the playoff final. However, we were beaten by Fluminense, which was disappointing. 1-0, but we matched the club's target and got into the final, the playoff final. So yeah, won't be adding the silverware for that. Copa Libertadores, as I said, we would do all right. Yeah, it was just Racing Club that beat us in the end. Some of these games were really bad though. We beat Estudiantes and George Wilstermann. We beat them both 9-0. And it was just shocking. Absolutely shocking. Well, we beat them 9-0 at home, should I say, and then we went to their place and probably won 1-0. It was just, yeah, it wasn't the prettiest. And in the second round, we had Peñarol from Uruguay. Again, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I don't know a lot of teams down in South America apart from your usual ones. Obviously, I'm getting familiar with your Brazilian teams now, managing there. But other than your big ones in Argentina as well, I don't really know many teams over in South America. So I've jumped ahead to October, and as you can see down at the bottom, I am on the verge of getting the sack. I'm currently 11th in the league, and they want qualification for the Libertadores. I don't think it's going to happen. We've been absolutely shocking, and yeah, at this point, the club have set me an ultimatum. They basically said they want 9 points in the next 5 games, which is what they usually do when you're under pressure. I figured I'll look at the finances just in case the old sack came. Balance dropped down to 7 million. Overall net debt has gone up slightly to 124. But were any of you worried, really? Of course I managed to do it. Gave them the old kick up the backside, didn't I? And they all pulled the fingers out for me and managed to get 11 points from the 5 games. So unbeaten in 5 games was nice. And jumping forward to the 2nd of December, I've jumped forward here. This is just before the end of the season. We've got a game today, and then we have a game next week. And I still don't have a contract. I did ask for a new contract after I passed their points ultimatum, and they told me at the time no. My performance wasn't worthy of one, which was quite annoying. However, on the same day that I decided to have a look at my contract and say, well, it's running out, they go and offer me a new one literally hours later. And yeah, so I've managed to sign myself another contract for 2 years. So at least it guarantees me another 2 years here, and as long as I keep pulling my weight and doing the bare minimum to get by. Jumping in now at the end of the season, and you can see where we finished. We finished down in 8th in the league, which is slightly better than what we were. when they gave me the old ultimatum. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's a Sudamericana place, which is the main thing. So at least we've got some sort of international football. But yeah, it's there was a lot of defeats there. It just didn't click. But we got the number 1 striker in the league, so at least we got some hope for next year, eh? A little look at all the competitions. I'm not going to run through each and every one because it was massively disappointing overall for the season. As you can see over there on the far right, we did win the South American Super Cup thing, which turns out to be the only silverware we got this year. But it's still a trophy in the trophy cabinet. We got knocked out in the Copa do Brazil. For some reason, I just cannot get past the 5th bloody round. Knocked out by Panarol, 1-0 in the first game and 0-0 in the second game. It was just, yeah. It was just really, really depressing. But, we still can't qualify for Libertadores. I have absolutely no idea how. I did have a little look at the rules, but for some reason it didn't really say anything regarding qualification while finishing 8th. So, yeah, it is what it is. We enter at the qualifying round, the second qualifying round that is. And, yeah, it was, at least it was a lifeline. He got the board off my back again slightly. Little look at the finances again then before we wrap up today's episode. 9.5 million in the overall bank and 122 in the net debt again. So we, because of being knocked out in the cup competition so early this time, there's literally nothing that we could have chipped away at. It was really, that's just, it's just a difference. Even though I know the Sudamericana is the lower trophy, at least because we were getting through each round, we were getting some more income coming in. So I'm gonna finish it with looking at the transfers in and out, the wheelings and dealings in and out. Down on the so on the left hand side, you saw the original 4. What I brought in, but then I spotted a little cheeky free agent coming up in Claudio Bravo. Now I know he's 37. So I know he was down for retirement, but I don't know if you've ever noticed it, that their contract is finishing in, say, 2020, and they've already set a retirement date for 2021. So I figured, well, I'll tell you what, I'll pick him up. I'll pick him up for that year, and I'll stick him in a mentoring group for my youngsters, which is what I've done. So I've signed him, and I put my young goalkeepers. Now I have an absolute worldie coming goalkeeper-wise in the youth intake, and I'll show you the worldie in episode 3. However, he's gone straight into a mentoring group with Claudio Bravo, and hopefully with the year that Claudio's here, he will do the bits. Obviously I am actually showing you this screen while I'm in 2021 because I completely forgot about giving you an update on the transfers. Because if you didn't know about Brazil, your transfer window just pretty much runs all year. It closes for one thing and then reopens for another thing, and so on and so on. But yeah, it pretty much runs for the whole year. So yeah, I'll show you. I thought I had to scroll back and show you that. And then you've seen some of my late additions in the transfer window. A couple of youngsters, Eduardo, Guilherme, and Pedro, basically just coming in to bolster the numbers. If you look over on the right, I did get rid of Fernando Costanza, which is, to be fair, it's one of the reasons I brought Lucas in, because I knew I was going to end up selling Fernando because he had some value. So I moved him on and I whacked in a 30% transfer sell-on clause. Gatito, 3.7 million release clause in his contract. Oh, I just could not get rid of that at all, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's it for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. If you did like it, give it a subscribe. Give it a like and a subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Episode 3, I will aim to try and get it out on Friday. Then I may take a couple of days off because I am working on something else that I will try and give an update in the week to show you guys what I'm actually going to be doing and pushing it forward. But yeah, again, like I said, thank you for joining me. See you soon.